At it again, and obviously, and we checked out a video on it yesterday, but Tulsi Gabbard has been the talk of the town. I mean, every YouTube channel out there has talked about Tulsi Gabbard, right? Because it was breaking news. Tulsi Gabbard came out and said, "Hey, I am officially leaving the left," which for me was shocking, right? Because I personally had never seen anything like that. Obviously, like I've stated before, I haven't been on this journey for very long into politics, so that was new for me. And you guys can let me know in the past, I know it's happened before, but like in the past, like 5, maybe 10 years, has that happened where someone announces, "Hey, I'm switching parties," or "I'm leaving a certain party"? Let me know in the comment section. But we have Tucker Carlson diving into the subject matter. So that's what we're going to be checking out today. Make sure you guys hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed to the channel already, hit that subscribe button and join the family. It's totally free. What are you waiting on? Also, if you would like to follow me on social media, those links are down below in the description box. My Instagram, my Twitter. You can also send me video suggestions that you want me to touch on Instagram or Twitter, or also on the Discord server, which is basically a glorified chat room. There's even a section where it says request videos that you can, drop your video suggestions in there. It's totally free to join. It should be the first link in the description box below. But with all that being said, let's dive in.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. So when Tulsi Gabbard won the Democratic Party's primary for a congressional seat in Hawaii 10 years ago, she'd effectively won the seat. Hawaii may be the most liberal out of all 50 states. It is a Democratic state. Flat out. It has not voted for a Republican presidential candidate in nearly 40 years. Wow. So if you get elected as a Democrat in Hawaii, it's not exactly breaking news. It's standard operating procedure. And yet when Tulsi Gabbard won that primary and then the seat, the Democratic National Party took a deep interest in her, and you can see why. Here was a smart, appealing 31-year-old who knew what she believed and could explain it fluently. And by the way, she was also an Iraq War veteran. So in political terms, Tulsi Gabbard was near perfect. And they got it immediately. Barack Obama endorsed her right away. Nancy Pelosi called her personally and invited Tulsi Gabbard, did you remember this, to speak on the opening night of the Democratic National Convention. And then once she was sworn into Congress in January, the DNC named Tulsi Gabbard vice chair of the National Party. She'd just gotten there. And she was vice chair of the DNC. And then, of course, the media played its prescribed role.
Wow.
If Nancy Pelosi likes you, well, so do they. So fawning profile after fawning profile emerged. If you lived in Washington at the time, you remember it very well. Here, ladies and gentlemen, the future of the Democratic Party, Tulsi Gabbard. In case you don't remember, here's a selection to jog your memory.
Watch out for the next superstar.
Here we go. You're talking about off-air all week. Here we go.
Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard is a rising star in this party. Tulsi Gabbard should be here tonight. The reality is we do not have enough young veterans in this party, enough young women in this party, enough people of color in this party.
You're considered a rising star in the Democratic Party. You had a position of leadership in the Democratic National Committee.
Tulsi's story is really, I think, tailor-made for Hollywood. I half expect Natalie Portman to be vying for the role any day now, because this story is not to be believed.
Tulsi Gabbard, she is going to be the one to watch tonight at the DNC.
And Tulsi Gabbard, she's an Iraq War veteran. Yeah. Yesterday, she was promoted from captain to major in the Hawaii National Guard. So she certainly is a rising star. The fact that she's not here tonight for whatever reason is unfortunate.
I don't know, but in a battle, I want her in my trench. I tell you that much.
Oh, is that Ana Navarro? Woo, okay.
Me too, me too.
Did you hear that? She's a rising star. Hollywood's going to make a movie about her. I want her in my trench. It's pretty hard to believe now, but that was the absolute consensus among Democratic Party sycophants until 2016. In 2016, as if by command from above, the fawning stopped abruptly, replaced initially by silence, and then by howls of scorned rage. So what happened in 2016? Well, Donald Trump was elected president. And then a few days later, displaying the independence of spirit that Democrats claim to love in young women, but actually despise more than anything, Tulsi Gabbard decided to talk to the new president about an issue that she cared about, which was U.S. policy towards Syria, a country that, again, Gabbard was virtually alone in pointing out has an awful lot of Christians in it, so maybe we should pay attention. As she put it at the time, quote, I felt it was important to take the opportunity to meet with the president-elect now, before the drumbeats of war that neocons have been beating drag us into an escalation of the war to overthrow the Syrian government. Woo, we can't say that in Washington. Maybe she didn't know. But they told her, shh, stop. Let the adults do it. But Gabbard didn't seem to care. A few weeks later, she went personally to Syria. She was a member of Congress. You can do that. And she wanted to see conditions for herself. And then while she was there, she met with the Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad. And that was it. It was over. Whether Tulsi Gabbard knew it or not, her career as a rising star within the Democratic Party came to a complete, abrupt, and final halt. She had done the one thing you're not allowed to do. She committed the one unforgivable sin, which is to question permanent Washington's foreign policy. You can't do that, and everyone knows it. And if you look around, you can see that no one does do it. They always tell you radical Sandy Cortez is, Rashida Tlaib. Would they do that? No way. AOC may be a socialist, but in the end, she's with Bill Kristol and Liz Cheney on Team Raytheon. She does not cross that line because you're not allowed to.
Interesting. Okay. Learning something new today.
But
I love
Tulsi
it.
Gabbard is someone who had served in the U.S. military. In fact, was still serving in the U.S. military, was an elected member of Congress, decided, why shouldn't I say what I think? And so she did. And for doing that, overnight, her fellow Democrats accused Tulsi Gabbard, the combat veteran you'd want in your foxhole, of committing treason against the country she was serving. Hillary Clinton went even farther than that. Speaking of conspiracy nuts, Hillary Clinton, way crazier than Alex Jones ever thought of being. She claimed the Russians were grooming Tulsi Gabbard as some kind of Manchurian candidate. You want to listen to lunacy? Listen to this.
I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's a favorite of the Russians.
Well, that's just completely whacked. Was she a crisis actor, too?
What is Hillary's obsession with? Goodness gracious. Wow. Hillary needs to be in a straitjacket. She needs to be in a straitjacket and needs some serious help, for sure. I don't know what's going on with her, but she's completely gone off the deep end.
What a lunatic. But no one noticed because everyone was saying it. The LA Times, which at one point was an actual newspaper, accused Tulsi Gabbard of, quote, talking like a Russian asset, maybe a spy. So the years went by and Tulsi Gabbard decided to run for president, still as a Democrat, as she had been in her entire time in Congress. She'd always been a Democrat, of course, the vice chair of the DNC. And so she wound up in a presidential debate in October of 2019, and she responded to the smears against her. Watch this.
New York Times and CNN have also smeared veterans like myself for calling for an end to this regime change war. Just 2 days ago, the New York Times put out an article saying that I'm a Russian asset and an Assad apologist and all these different smears. This morning, a CNN commentator said on national television that I'm an asset of Russia. Completely despicable. As president, I will end these regime change wars by doing two things: ending the draconian sanctions that are really a modern-day siege, the likes of which we are seeing Saudi Arabia wage against Yemen, that have caused tens and thousands of Syrian civilians to die and to starve. And I would make sure that we stop supporting terrorists like al-Qaeda in Syria, who've been the ground force in this ongoing regime change war.
They called her a Russian asset. Now, that slur is so common that we don't really think about it, but think about it just for a second. This is a transparently patriotic person, an elected member of Congress who was serving in the U.S. Army, who's also, by the way, one of the nicest people in all of Washington, who is making traditionally liberal points about war. Not that all wars are bad or war is never necessary. She's participated in wars personally. She's merely saying, and has said dozens of times on television, that wars that don't benefit the United States are probably a bad idea for us to engage in.
Facts.
That's all she said. And for that, she was run out of town. Now, why is that? Why is that such an unacceptable thing to say? Well, of course, because there's a pattern here. Certain people do benefit from wars and they want more. So 3 years after that debate,
all about
another
that dollar.
U.S.-funded regime change war is underway. And that is exactly what's happening. This time, our stated goal is removing not some third world dictator who might have WMD, but removing a guy who is the world's largest nuclear stockpile, 6,300 nuclear warheads, Vladimir Putin. And once again, because Tulsi Gabbard has questioned the wisdom of this complete lunacy, Democrats are accusing her of working for Vladimir Putin. So if you want to know what the Democratic Party actually believes, don't listen to what they say. Oh, we want empowered women of color who are also veterans. No, they don't.
Watch what they do.
They want people who support regime change war. That's their red line. That's the one thing they will brook no dissent on whatsoever. They don't care what you think about that. They don't want to debate you on it. If you disagree or even ask questions, they go right to traitor. So today, Tulsi Gabbard did what is probably inevitable and probably has been since 2016. She left her own party, the Democratic Party. And we don't have to guess as to why, because she explained it in some detail, and we ask you, please listen carefully to this because it's inspiring and interesting. And she did it on her new podcast called The Tulsi Gabbard Show. It launched today. Here she is.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party. It's now under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti-white racism.
Yes, ma'am.
Who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms enshrined in our Constitution, and who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality.
I'm sorry, but I gotta interrupt that. And this is a thought that just popped up in my head. It makes me think, what is the benefit for some of these white elitists that push this racism against white people agenda? What's in it for them? Because I know, listen, like if I were in that position, because I like putting myself in other people's shoes, and there was an agenda against black people, and there was this black guilt that, black people were supposed to have. I'm not participating in that. Why would I? It's going against me just for being black. Like I had no control over that. I was born the way that I was born, right? So what do these elitists have to gain pushing that type of agenda? Because we saw, for example, and this is an example that is fresh that we can pull from, when Kanye said that white lives matter, right? When Kanye came out and said that, obviously there was a firestorm. We checked out Kanye for like 3-4 days straight right here on this channel. Him and Adidas had a partnership. Now, after he said that and wore the shirt, Adidas announced that they were reviewing their partnership because of that statement. Adidas is owned by a white person. So my question is, why is a black person being punished by a white person for saying white lives matter? What sense does that even make? What do you have to gain from that? That tells me that there is something sinister about that entire situation. Because otherwise you wouldn't have been going along with it, because you're white yourself. Why wouldn't you believe that your life matters? In fact, I know that you do, but you want to, I think it's all about power, control, and money. Somehow, some kind of way, getting us all to fight while they enrich themselves. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. That thought just popped up in my head, like, what do they have to gain by pushing this crap? There's something there, obviously, because they wouldn't be doing it. If we all fight amongst ourselves and destroy all of this, they get to live in their posh communities and with their elitist friends and have a Venezuela type situation, I guess. It's crazy. Anyway, what do y'all think? Talk to me.
Who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms enshrined in our Constitution.
Yes, ma'am.
And who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality.
Facts.
Who demonize the police, who protect criminals at the expense of law-abiding Americans, who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war. Now these...
Why? Because they all have bunkers to live in. We don't. think I was watching Joe Rogan the other day. I want to say it was actually with Tulsi. And they were talking about in New York where they came out with the ad that was like, hey, if this thing hits, shelter in place, just go inside. And it was just like, that's not a safe place to go. If that hits, that building is crumbling. That's not a safe place. Talk about safe spaces. There is no safe space for the regular civilian. There is none. But you know who does have those safe spaces or bunkers? So when all of those things are falling from the sky and boom, boom, all over the place, the very people that want this kind of stuff to happen, they'll be nice and comfortable, deep underground, away from all of it. And unfortunately, there's some folks here in America that don't understand that. They'll realize it once those things start falling. Where there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. You encourage these folks, and I mean a lot of these NPCs from the left. Oh, we hate these guys. We should demolish them. Yeah, until those things start falling. Yeah, we can demolish them technically. Yeah, sure. But at what cost? You, me, and all of the other regular civilians around here? There's this depopulation agenda, I believe, going on, and maybe that's the way to do it for them. Let them fly. They've got nowhere to run. We do. What do y'all think? Talk to me.
These are some of the main reasons I'm leaving the Democratic Party.
So keep in mind, until today, this was a registered Democrat, an office holder, a standard bearer of the Democratic Party, the future of the Democratic Party from the country's most liberal state. This was a liberal Democrat. Did you hear that? Is there a single word you disagree with? Is there a single word that the Republican who represents you, who you send money to, who you vote for, would repeat in public? In other words, here you have someone who until yesterday was a member of the Democratic Party saying things the overwhelming majority of Republican voters believe, but only a vanishingly small minority of Republican office holders are willing to say out loud because it's too scary. Oh, it just tells you so much.
That's the truth, too.
Subscribe to the Fox News.
Wow. That is the truth, too. That is a very interesting statement as well. What a mic drop moment. Shout out to Tucker Carlson. What a mic drop moment. That's the way you end the show right there. How many Republicans have come out and said some of the things that Tulsi Gabbard said? And we checked out that video yesterday. I forgot what I titled that video, but it was from yesterday. So yeah. How many have come out and said stuff like that? But how many Republican voters believe that? Believe everything she just said? 100% agree with everything she just said. It's very interesting. Makes you sit back and think for a second like, wow. But hey, I'm new to this. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know it all. I'm still learning every single day, which I think is a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing to have my eyes open to so much on a daily basis. It's honestly incredible, the amount of information and things that I have learned in such a short amount of time throughout this journey. You guys teaching me things, as well as learning stuff from, these videos and things. I mean, it's like, wow, how did I not know this stuff before? I mean, some of it's just so obvious. It's, whoa, there was like a veil over my eyes or something, and I literally could not see what was right in front of me. Honestly incredible. But anyway, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit that subscribe button before you go. And of course, share this video. Share the video. It's the arrow button down below. You can copy the link, send it via text message, send it via Facebook Messenger. You can post the link on your Facebook. All right, whatever. Twitter, Instagram, Truth Social, what other social media? Any social media site. All right, send it to your neighbor. Peace and love. Y'all stay safe out there. I'm out.